What's good, family? Brethren. You know, I was thinking about something. I was thinking about the awakening of the black man for the most part in America. And I was thinking about the 1960s when you had the Black Power movements. You had black families who had maybe 20%, single motherhoodism and kids born out of wedlock. And like 80% of our people, maybe 85% was like somewhere around there. It was high marriages and people staying together, right? And so I look at, let's say 1965, and now we're in 2025. So that's about 60-year-ish, right? Something like that. And I was thinking about how that people expose themselves. They have exposed themselves during this period. And the men have been exposed to be simps in our community, and the women expose themselves to be murderers of babies, whores, disloyal, loud, proud, and they have no respect for men. And one thing I was thinking about, an indicator of your men, one of the great indicators is when you look at how they voted. So you had a majority of black men, about 80%? About 85% or something voted for Kamala Harris, right? Whereas in other communities, Hispanic, Asian, white, Arab, whatever, it was like 50%, 55%, 52%. You know what I mean? Something like that. Voted for this. It wasn't no completely swayed, So that show you right there that a lot of our men in America, in Black America, is simps, man. They follow their woman, and the woman following the white man. You see what I mean? That's just what it is, bro. It's a matriarchal construct. And I think that it was a scripture that says something like, it's similar to what I'm about to say. Like a friend cannot be known when times are good. And neither an enemy can be hidden when times are bad. A friend cannot be known, and it's not word for word. A friend cannot really be known when things are going good, and the enemy cannot be hid when things are going bad. Because they're going to show themselves. When you in your difficulties of life, oh yeah, they're going to show themselves. They're going to show their butt. And that's what's been going on. I look back and stuff, and even in my little life, 40 plus years, I've seen where you had I've seen the degeneracy of these women just fall from what it was even since I was a kid. Like, you had hoes over here, but you had some decent, like, modest chicks over there. It kind of like that. But now it's like, you don't hardly see, like, even, when last time you seen a decent looking single black chick with like a skirt or a dress on, modestly clothed, even if it ain't, or you gotta be, let's say modest pants, let's say a skirt or a dress. And then if we have our own hair, oh man, come on. Then if we add onto that in shape, man, it's bad, bro. And the reason I mention the women, because the woman is the temperature, the indicator by which you judge how the women carry themselves in any particular race is going to show you the temperature of that race. She is the indicator. If you're a woman that, like, say, East African or Middle Eastern culture, where they women is more patriarchal, more strict on the women, in general, they ain't out here super ultra tattooed, baby bodying, twerking, loud and obnoxious idiots like they are here in America. So you can judge that race predicated upon the female as an indicator, not absolute, of course. But it's definitely an indicator. Your women liberated and free, they're gonna be hard and they're gonna be naked, and booty and cheeks and all the other stuff showing. That's supposed to be precious for their husband to only have, but in free, modern kind of matriarchal constructs, everybody can see it on Instagram or OnlyFans for a certain purchase price. So because they're an indicator, because your woman is an indicator, you take the temperature of the race based on the women. If they liberated and free, that means your race ain't doing good. So when you look at some, East African culture, stuff like that, where the chicks is more modest and, still cook, clean, and have family construct and all that kind of stuff, and they know their place. And then you look over here with the black women in this country, you see a stark difference. So when you take the temperature of what's going on here, you can see that the temperature of the Black American community is, hey, we pretty damn sick. We on life support, man. So growing up, you had a different variety of chicks, man, but now it's like women have showed themselves and exposed themselves. See, this is my main point, is like, just as a friend cannot really be known when things are good, neither can an enemy be known. Sometimes the enemy hide themselves enviously when things are going good for you, and they hate that things are going good for you. But it's to their benefit to stick with you, because you doing good. They could just kind of linger with you, be like, it's better to be with them and play the role and fake. When I get my opportunity, though, I'm gonna show who I really am. And that's essentially what is happening since liberation in Black America. Black women have exposed themselves as being the enemy of the black man here in America. And they expose themselves that they are not loyal, they disrespectful, disloyal. And so I'm looking at, since I grew up, the degeneracy, man, level is just, I guess I call this video, I don't know, the enemy within or something like that. Black man awakening, enemies exposed, the enemy within. Since the 60s, since this process in the last 60 years has showed you what people do, they have showed this process, this period of time has showed me that, say back in the old days, you had the, black men who was in the power position, fighting for the black women and all that against the overt white oppression. But now, since then, the black woman has joined the white man and murdered more of our black kids. That's something people don't ever really talk about, bro. She really goes on in life untalked about, and it's like the big fat elephant, the big fat weave-wearing elephant in the room that we can't talk about. Like, you can't talk about this stuff in regular, you can talk about it online, and maybe with a few brothers that's patriarchal minded in your regular life. But a majority of our men is simps, and you can't really talk to them on this stuff because they're going to immediately get all emotional and defend a black woman, a lot of times to the death. So, speaking of enemies, our main enemies we got in Black America is simps who worship black women and black women who worship white America and themselves, And so, and the masculine, regular, patriarchal-minded black man like us, you like, I don't even know what percentage we are, bro. I mean, real talk, bro. You gotta fly under the radar and people don't really like you. You ain't part of the gay community, or you ain't no simp, man. Then you don't get like, you ain't in the in crowd kind of thing. Because if you're a masculine man, you're not gonna really, I ain't talking about masculine, you got all these big muscles or you got big money and all that. I'm talking about masculine in your mind state. You don't think that it's okay for your women to be hoes. You ain't gonna think it's cool for niggas to be worshiping and simping with hoes. What's going on in our community is not good, bro, for the masculine-minded brother, patriarchal-minded brother. So, and the majority of our men in our community is not patriarchal minded. As you see with the voting, we vote for the black female, mainly because they doing groupthink, man. In the last 60 years, especially now, man, with social media, what has been exposed, our enemies have exposed themselves. The enemy of the patriarchal, more masculine-minded black brothers, self-respecting brothers like us, our enemies are a multitude in our community. And the simps are a big problem, and they've been exposed, and they've been raised. It's the Willie Lynch syndrome. Willie Lynch syndrome, the women have been released and funded to be hoes, baby murdering hoes, and these kids that don't get murdered, they grow up, the males grow up to be women worshiping simps. And so then a few of us make it through, and we more masculine, patriarchal minded dudes. But we ain't I wouldn't know, I don't think we're the majority, because we were the majority. You know what I mean? You would see more brothers, you'd be able to talk to more brothers in regular life, and you wouldn't, we know we ain't the majority. How do you measure this? I don't know. I know I ain't the majority. Where they at? Where are all the brothers who think the same way? It ain't that many of us. I've been in different places, man. So a lot of our men are some freaking simps, and women following their broads, man. Woman worship, whatever you want to call it. And it's a very sad thing. And that's what's been exposed since the 60s. See, before the liberation of these hoes and the black woman joined the white society and doing her own thing, was basically, it's like the Willie Lynch syndrome situation. You're going to empower the female, make her independent. And so now you got all these independent hoes running around, enjoying liberation and becoming bust downs. And, and then along the way, she got 2 or 3 abortions, which that's 2 or 3 souls that she done murdered. And so now, that could have been 2 or 3 kids that could have been born, and they could have 2 or 3 families, right? But those are bloodlines that are destroyed. So we got a whole bunch of defiled women who body bag a bunch of our children, who follow the white man, and have, and we asking the question, what's wrong? Why don't we get together? You don't get together because how you gonna get together with simps who worship your enemy? And a black woman, yes, I ain't saying that. I'm saying that how they do, what people are, what they do, and what they continue to do. Yeah, we all have sinned and made mistakes. But what people are continuing to do is what they are. And what the BAW continues to do is to be the enemy of the black American man and linked to white society. And she keep doing degenerate behaviors, and the black man in America who would put these bitches in check, a lot of times go get checked by the system or checked by some simps. You know what I mean? And it's like, this ain't really our lane here. You know what I mean? You dealing with a lot of structural situation that's not beneficial to you as a masculine, patriarchal-minded brother. So anyways, my main point is that in the last 60 years, since feminism and, movement, a lot of things have been exposed. The woman who we thought was our friend was our enemy. She turned out to be our enemy. Just like the example I gave, an enemy, they maybe stick with you if you're doing good, you understand me, because basically you're the best option, or it's some kind of benefit for them to be with you. That's an enemy, like a wolf in sheep's clothing. So a wolf in sheep's clothing is kind of like what the black American woman has been. And of course, put the caveat in there, not all. But wolf in sheep's clothing, maybe I'll name this video that. That's essentially what the black American woman has been in general. The decent women, clearly this ain't you. But even even black women are exposing other black women, which, it is what it is, which is cool. They should check each other. The decent women should separate themselves and cause turbulence and check all this kind of behavior. Even if they're repentative, even if they did some bad stuff in the past, but hey, be repentative and call out the degeneracy. The problem is that nobody really calls out the obvious: fat, pink elephant, weave-wearing pink elephant in the middle of the room. And she been basically untouchable. You can't talk about the black, you can't talk about our sisters, that's our sisters. And they've been running their mouths on the black man. And so since the Ricky Lake and Oprah Winfrey and Sally Jesse Raphael, that's old school media. Talk show. So just as the enemy will stick with you and pretend to be your friend because of advantage, as the scriptures say, likewise, when their opportunity to show their real face, you know what I mean, and they don't need you no more kind of thing. And that's when they don't need you no more kind of thing, then they get to show who they really are because you are no more of an advantage to them anymore. And that's essentially what has happened since the feminism. Feminism is basically the white man funding black women to be hoes and liberating themselves from the authority of the black man and the dependence upon the black man. So therefore, she's liberated to be a hoe. And yes, I mean, and so now you have a war within, you know what I mean, the community. A war within a war. Well, really, it's one war, but just multiple enemies. Back in, say, like, before feminism stuff, you had black families and stuff, and you knew who the enemy was a white man. It's an oppressive system. And both a black man and a black woman was oppressed together, and she was essentially a dormant enemy. Not all of them, of course, but chilling with her man, knowing, oh, I gotta hold on to him. I gotta be with him because we going through this oppression, and they hanging Negroes or whatever, or this police, violence is occurring, and sundown towns and all this stuff. So we got to stick together because of this oppression. So she was sticking with the black man essentially because she didn't have no choice. So then the white man came up and said, you know what, this black power movement, man, this Malcolm X and Martin Luther King kind of stuff, and Marcus Garvey, all these movements, power kings and all. We got to do something about this. So then what they do, bring out the old trick, same thing, serpent in the garden. How do you one up your enemy? Get to their woman. Just like as the serpent got to Eve to get to Adam to take the power, the white man got to the black woman to get to the black man to take the power movement away. Same thing, bro. So enemies have been exposed since that time. And, so once they got the freedom and liberation, then they was able to do whatever the heck they wanted to do. And then, so that became the funding of the internal war against the black man and the black family, essentially. And the black woman in America has been an absolute willing participant in the dysfunction and the betrayal of the black family. I mean, we bitter, man. They murder millions of our children, bro. Like, dude, like you can't discuss these things with simps, is what I'm saying. And that's the freaking problem out of this situation where now you got these, what's that movie? Francine? I think it's called Francine. I forgot, it might be Francine. It was a black movie. I posted it before back in the 70s with the single mother black chick. Francine, I forgot the name of it, but I think it's Francine. But anyways, single mother black chick, James Earl Jones played in it. Claudine, that's it. Claudine. And so now you got these broken households in the 1970s and stuff. So now you got these liberated chicks collecting child support, multiple dudes getting this money. This is old, bro. It's like a couple generations, bro. And so they don't need no particular man because the system has been a financial support. So out of that becomes the other enemy, develops the other enemy. These simps who are dedicated to the female no matter what, question nothing. And so these dudes hate masculine men in authority because they raised by women who hate masculine men and authority. You see what I mean? Like, so how can you join forces and be of one mind with people you ain't of one mind with? Like, you gotta look at, so that's where I see the whole separation and enemies exposing themselves kind of thing. I see, and I think that the only thing is really going to, break that down is going to be like, the purge, man. You know what I mean? Like, because you can't really talk about these issues. I'll put it like this. The main way that you understand what's really going on is through the scriptures, the Bible, so you can understand why this is happening. So, and a lot of, I just put it like that. The enemy is within, and I was just looking at like how that enemies expose themselves after they get free, but when they in a dire situation, then they cleave into their best possible option. It's kind of like the black woman monkey branched was kind of like the woman who with her husband, but she don't really like him, she don't love him, and it's the better opportunity come along, she gonna monkey branch to that better opportunity. In her head, that's a better opportunity. That's essentially what the black American woman did. She monkey branched to liberation and doing her own thing as opposed to being, family structure. Therefore, the power of the Black Power movement, where is it? Who gonna lead it? And then number two, what the hell you fighting for? So you basically fighting, the white man funded inside war, no difference, right? Than usually they do it around the world. But they funded a war inside the black community. And so therefore, that's why we are where we at. The black woman has exposed herself to be an enemy of black men and black people in America. And so now that she been released, she could, when you get these benefits, you could be released to do good, or you could be liberated to do good or liberated to do bad. Right? Or we're going to do we're going to mix the society and mix the races, we all inclusive and all that. Well, you can use this and pivot with your man, or you can pivot without your man and push him aside instead of your man and be in his stead as the man, and he follows you. And that's what has occurred. They could have pivoted it with their man and worked some angles, but they was like, I don't need that man. That's why the whole thing I ever heard in my life, I don't need no man, I don't need no man, I don't need no man. I'm strong and independent, I'm strong and independent. Growing up in the 90s and stuff. These hoes is repeating phrases that essentially the white man kind of gave them and stuff. But how you independent, you got independent thought. So I was just thinking about that, man. Enemies exposed. And so now we're at the point in 2025, oh boy, where enemies that are exposing themselves. The black woman has been the main enemy is the white man, and his inside agent and most effective enemy against his most feared enemy. The white man's most feared enemy is the black American man, but the white man's most effective enemy against the black American man is his inside agent, the black American woman. And this has been exposed. Nobody really can argue. People argue whatever they want, but any reasonable, logical person that's looking for the truth and stuff, it's very difficult for you to argue this against that. So now we look at 2025, we got, social media, and we got all these women going on there purposefully exposing themselves, whether it be naked photos, whether it be they talk about they in an abortion clinic, and then later on she twerking in a club, leaking, or whether she doing a video talking about where she did this and that, and her boyfriend or husband don't know about it. Like, we can't talk about that though, right? Because then that's talking about the queen, right? We can't talk about the big problem in our community is that the woman's liberated and she need to be put in check. You can't talk about it because they're the queen and this is a matriarchy. So, but I will talk about it. But see, even I have to talk about it, what? On the internet. You understand me? Because the majority of brothers ain't on what I'm on. We are a minority, bro. That's very sad. And most brothers don't even communicate. I might talk to a brother, and like one dude, I'm thinking, oh, he cool, yeah, he cool. Another dude, one dude, maybe this and that, but this elephant in the closet stuff, you can't talk about. You got to test. My point is that even the point that you even have to test to see whether this dude is a simp or not. That right there shows you this is a problem. Like, what do you think about the main cause of, what's going on in the black community? What's your opinion? You got to, test the waters and see where this dude's mind is, whether or not he's a simp or not. That's a problem, bro. The majority of your men shouldn't be no freaking simps. So then your other enemy is the simp men, drones. These are problems. He's a derivative of the single motherhood epidemic. He's a derivative. But it's the same. You can't really have a simp in like a patriarchal, headed household, because the father gonna teach his son against that BS. He gonna teach him to not see. When you look at you peep game, a father who's self-respected man and want his son to prosper is going to teach him how not to get taken advantage of by women, and how to, if he deal with a woman, how he needs to deal from a power perspective. And she's supposed to be a servant, follow his instruction, and he can have multiple women if he chooses, and this and that. And you are always to be in a power position, and she is always to be looking up to you. You know what I mean? And any woman who don't follow your instructions, let her go back to the streets from when she came, because she's not worthy of your orchestration. A woman is a sheep, and you are the pastor. You are the shepherd, pastoring her along in her life. You know what I mean? In the pastures of life. And if, that's what a father gonna tell his son, because he can love his son, and, he gonna tell him all kind of cool stuff that's gonna help him from being destroyed in this culture by these women. But you move the father, and now you got the woman teaching the exact opposite. She gonna teach the son how to get taken advantage of by these hoes. How to treat a woman. You need to treat her with respect. Even if she is single mother, she's going to teach him to become a simp, to become abused by women, to become used by women, to become a tool of women. You see what I mean? This is why you got these majority dudes, whether they're rich, poor, in and out of jail, thug dude, or super rich, Will Smith idiot dude. It's tall, skinny, ugly, fat, it's a simp mentality, bro. And it's heavy in the black American community. So the simps, but they're a byproduct, but they still a problem. I have some sympathy for some simps, but at the end of the day, you could have a sympathy for, I would be watching videos where sometimes these dudes be going around releasing different animals that have been caught in traps and stuff like that. And they release an animal from a trap. Let's say a cougar, or a cougar. Let's say, what do you call it? A mountain lion. A mountain lion was stuck in a trap, or and they was like, oh shoot, this is sad. And they did this thing and cut off the trap and opened up the trap and cut off the wires or whatever that was a snare that was around the hand and all that, and then the bobcat or the mountain lion now can run away and all that, and he's safe now. That was a pretty cool video. But yeah, at the same time, so I understand what the snare that the simp is caught in is what I'm saying. But just as the simp is caught in a trap, caught in a snare, and it may not even be his fault. It's just he was minding his own business. He was just caught up in the numbers. And he was snared into the simping through his mama. Doesn't matter how he got there. The matter is that he a wild animal, and that even if so just excuse me, just as you try to release a wild little mountain lion or cougar from the trap, there's a potential. So even though you know that he in the situation, he ain't caused the situation really, and you understand where he's coming from, he trapped, he's snared, and you would try to free him, then there's a possibility that that mountain lion or cougar is going to come and attack you, even though you was trying to free him. Because that's when you parallel that to the simp. Yeah, I understand that he became a simp probably because he was raised by a single mother and he hate masculine authority because his mom hated masculine authority. She wanted submit, and she hate masculine men, like patriarchal minded men, and therefore he got the mind of him mama. So therefore he hate patriarchal minded black. I understand how he got. I understand he's in the snare, but the reality, just as the mountain lion, the simp, even though I understand him and all that, he still is a problem. He's still a violent, a potentially violent element in this situation, no matter how he got there. So I understand him, but just to understand him don't mean that he ain't dangerous. And that's the problem, man. Simps are dangerous, bro. But the making of a simp, we understand it. See, even when you read the Willie Lynch letter, you see how these dudes is raised to be physically strong but mentally weak. And that's a simp. Oh, you gotta get your money up. You be a 6-figure, 7-figure dude. Or you gotta be 6 feet tall. He's 6'7". But his mentality is still simping. His mentality is still protect the female at all costs, worship the female. What she says, right? Do now, think later. Actions now, think later. She said this, it must be right. Do it. Thinking? No, we don't do that. We don't do that thinking stuff. Do now, think later. Maybe think later. And that's a problem. So this something. So simps have been exposed, and the Black American woman has been exposed as an enemy of the patriarchal-minded, masculine-minded brothers, man. And I was just thinking about that, man, and how that freedom can show people who they really are. So an enemy cannot be hid in time of adversity. An enemy will not hide themselves. And so this has been a time of adversity for the black man since like the liberation and stuff. Yes, I mean, we've been getting, our women have been just talking trash about us, bro. We've been the bottom of the barrel so far as how we are perceived, you know what I mean? When your woman is out there ass naked and talking trash about you on international TV and nowadays on social media and stuff, well, now they're starting to change their tune and all this kind of crap because a lot of brothers ain't really pursuing them like that. You know what I mean? Brothers is like, man, we tired, bro. We going overseas. We going to passport. I'm tired of this bull crap. So now, it's changing more. But in general, for dozens of years, many decades, half a century, pretty much, Black American women been running her mouth dirty on the Black American man. The in and out jail pookies and the rares and the regular dudes. And that's the problem. So they have not ceased to do so. And so brothers are tired of that bull crap. So I look at it like they have exposed who they really are. Nowadays with the social media, man, they will go on there and just expose that they have no fear, bro. They expose that they are the enemy. They do. When you look at the social media stuff, you see women, because a lot of times people live their life on women live their life online more so, like with all this attention and stuff. I do social media and stuff, like I do these videos, but I'm more like putting into it, and then I'm pretty much done. And I watch some videos, no question, but informational videos, different brothers' channels here and there, like that. But my life, like say social media, like, I guess this is social media. Yeah, this is a form of social media. But also what I'm kind of thinking about is like your Instagrams, your Facebooks, you know what I mean? And your X, your Twitter and all that stuff. When I mean social media, I kind of mean like that. But all this is social media. TikTok, it's all social media. It's all different form. One is a video format, and the other one is more like Facebook, where you communicate with people back and forth, but whatever. It's all social media. So women primarily relish in social media. They're social creatures and stuff. This is why most women get more activity when they put a photo up or something like that. They're going to get more likes and stuff like that. In general, it just is what it is. Social media is kind of like their thing, you know. Ain't nothing wrong with social media. It's cool. But I'm just saying that I like social media, but it could become, you could just do it too much. But these women live their life on social media primarily. That's like probably, I would guess that that's their main source of attention that they get. Because you can multiply, a regular chick working at Burger King could just post a photo. I mean, it's all, it's all access. Like they get access to multiples of attention from men. So they leveraging it. You know what I mean? She working at Burger King, she might get like, 10, 20 dudes hit on her a day or something. But social media is bunches of people hitting her up on her Instagram, wanting to CashApp her. It's like instantaneous, boom, 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 boom. And all she got to do is send out a text or a message, and it'd be dudes, cash. So she can get more. What did she say? This is a side note. What was it? I was watching some social media, right? Video where they was asking these chicks, would you, if the right man came along or whatever, and he told you you're going to have to get, in order to be with him, you're going to have to get rid of your Instagram. And they was asking these chicks on the panel that question. And the chicks was like, well, it depends on if he can give me what, this is your dude. And if he your man, you supposed to obey and follow his instructions, right? Right. So she was basically like, yeah, I would give it up, but only if he could provide all the stuff that Instagram can provide. Attention, basically, she getting this attention from men, she getting money from men, you know what I mean? But if it's a business, bottom line, if this is your man, you need to follow his instructions. But my point is that she was like one of them out of like 10, I think like 2 maybe have said they would get rid of it. But it was some conditions. If I'm gonna get, most of them said they ain't giving up their Instagram for no dude. Showing you the power of social media. They would rather have Instagram than a man. Because of Instagram, she got men. She ain't got a man. She got men. So, oh boy, does that show you right there? You take the temperature of the race based on how the women conduct themselves, right? So when you look at when you take the temperature of our women in our culture, what do you see about Black American culture, bro? What do you see with regards to our folks, bro? So anyway, this is something I was thinking about, man. The enemy within, how people have exposed themselves, and how freedom, it's like even with a person that get rich, for example, what's in them is going to come out. What's in the person is going to come out. And a decent woman ain't going to be pimped and pivoted. A decent woman is a decent woman. A raggedy woman is a raggedy woman. Really ain't really no in between. So if a decent woman get liberation, she gonna likely go on and continue to do decent things because she a decent woman within. If a raggedy woman get liberation, she gonna be like, oh, I ain't gotta put up with this no more. Bye. Because she only kind of dealing with you because of necessity. Just like the woman who just kind of dealing with the husband that she really don't like, just out of necessity. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it was when a white man offered her that bag. She said, what? Liberation? I ain't got to be with this Negro. No. Bye. Put them on child support. Put you on child support, right? So this is what I was thinking about, man, how that enemies have exposed themselves through liberty. So, like, even with a person, like, number two example, if you look at this as how, like, a person get rich, win the lottery or whatever, what's in them is going to come out more abundantly because they got the power to do what they want to do now, you see. And if they become an alcoholic or a chronic payer of prostitutes or so once you power, it's what they say, power. When a person get power, what's in them is gonna come out. If what's in them is dirt, then they're gonna be dirty to more of an extreme because there's no limitations to stop their dirtiness. If they already a decent person, they just gonna continue doing decent things. And what the BAW has shown us, a black woman in America has shown us, is that in general, by her actions, you know them, right? Continual actions. She has shown by her continual actions to be the degenerate, bro, and that she's our enemy, right? By her continual actions, not feelings and emotions. What she do is who the person is. What the person does continually, that's who they is. So that's something I was thinking about, how liberation has exposed enemies. And that's just my thoughts, brothers. If you want to like, share, and subscribe, go ahead and do so. If you want to support the channel using the Cash App in the description, go ahead and do so. And much respect to you, brethren. Peace.